I got to learn a lot of different things, not just being behind the mic, but I started learning how to market, how to do radio sales, how to do promotions, production, every aspect. I would just always live at the station. If I wasn't at the school, trying to get my degree, I was at the radio station. Wow. And the cool thing was that the radio stations in our town were right next to the university. Like they were all in that same proximity. So nice. I was just in that area all the time from morning to night.
Wow.
So I worked there for a couple of years, I think 2 years, when at the time, my ex-husband at the time when we graduated, got a job offer to come work at the Dallas Times-Herald. At the same time, I got a job offer to go work and do afternoon drive in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So we flipped a coin, I lost, we come to Dallas, and then 2 weeks later, I was on a radio station. So it's really been like... I always say, it's just been my calling. It's what I'm supposed to do because it's been it was rather, easy as I was going through getting jobs. Like I really didn't.
You have a great testimony, which I'm hoping that we get to talk about that a little bit later. But you have a great testimony that the listeners have to hear about. It's very touching, but. When you were working in the radio world, when you moved around, I know you having to spend a lot of time with different celebrities.
Yes, lots of time.
I mean, hey, the first time I met you, we came into your office and you have pictures of all type of people.
Right.
Could you tell me about how is that like? What is that process like? Working at a radio station, having to do, you said like interviews over and over, like what you're doing right now.
Right.
Thank you guys. All right, you did this over and over. Not only did you do it, but you did it in different markets, right? You did it in different markets, all being that low level, high level, like what's the top tier radio station. But
so one thing, again, I was blessed. When we talk about markets in radio are determined by the size of the population. So yes. I've been in Dallas since 1989. We're the fourth largest radio market. It's the only market outside of El Paso, which is considered a mid-market.
El Paso.
So I've only been in this market. Now within this market, now you have rankings of radio stations. Like the number one station, 2, 3, 4. And those are all based on the ratings of the station, based on the listeners. Back then it was Arbitron ratings and what people would, put down as their favorite radio stations. And then you got a ranking. Nice. And even in that, I was blessed that every station I worked at here in the Dallas area was always in the top 5. Wow. So K104, number 1 for so many years. Kiss FM, number 1 for so many years. 100.3 Jams, we came in, we got to number 2. So I've always had, gotten a chance to work with some amazing program directors that taught me so much, and radio hosts like Tom Joyner and Kid Craddock, Russ Parr, just great radio people that I got to glean from and learn from and work alongside. So I was very blessed in that way.
Absolutely. And so during that time, you had the chance to interview a lot of different people.
I did. That was one of my favorite parts. It still is. I actually have a show here on my own network called The Interview because it is one of my favorite parts of radio. Although I love all of radio, it is my favorite thing to do is find out people's stories, right? Yes. Find out how they got from where they are to where they are today. Correct. Or where they were to where they are, and just have conversations with people. I love to just have conversations, and I got to have so many conversations because in the 80s, 90s, even early 2000s, because Dallas was the fourth largest radio market and it was the middle ground from Los Angeles to the East Coast, right, to New York, all those famous celebrities would come and stop here in the Dallas area to promote whether it was a movie or their music or their concerts were here, and they would always go by the radio stations and just walk in. Sometimes we knew they were coming, sometimes we didn't, and they just walked in.
Would y'all have to prepare on?
On the fly. I remember one time I got a call on the hotline, which is the phone into the studio that only the people that work there have.
Yeah.
And it's not the listen request line. And when that little red light goes off, it's your boss or something important. Yeah. So I picked it up and they said, Madonna just walked in.
Madonna.
And we're walking up the hallway and we're going to be inside that studio in about 40 seconds and you better, be ready.
Wow.
So, yeah, you have to act like, yeah, I got this. You can't let them see you sweat. And you've got to just on the fly. That song I was playing on the air at that time ended. And then quickly I had to go into making sure I was pulling up her songs, getting ready with having that conversation when we were going to ask. But it was not planned because I remember one time the same thing happened with the quarterback, Joe Montana. He came. He was here for his nonprofit organization with the Heart Association.
Okay.
And he wasn't here for a game. We didn't know. And he just happened to be at this event. And somehow he ended up at the station unannounced. And I don't know too much about sports in that way or football. I'm an athlete, but not in football. So here comes, by the way, Sammy, here he comes down the hall. You're going to have to interview him. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, how do I prepare for this one? Because this isn't someone I can pull up some music.
Right.
Now I got to, talk to him about why he's here and things of that nature. But always so fun meeting those people that, are celebrities in the sports world or the acting world or the music industry. It's very exciting. And you can't act starstruck. You just have to be cool and you have to be calm because you're working. It's a profession. And you can't be like, oh my God, this person's just like even though inside you might be saying it, you just can't let them see you sweat. You just have to stay calm.
Being that that you mentioned in there, being that you said seeing people, like letting people see you, riled up, excited about it.